Hey, great to see you guys. It is, of course, LinkedIn Live, as well as some other platforms that we're on as well. I just want to say thank you very much for being here today and joining us during your lunch. It's great to have you guys. The weather is changing all around the United States, and I'm seeing mask-free zones in Texas, Arizona. Those are some places that I've traveled to lately. And here in Chicago, I would say it's about 60 degrees today, and things are going quite well. So I hope you guys are doing great. And if you have Bitcoin, you guys are doing pretty good. Bitcoin, Doji, VeChain, Cardona, they're all going crazy. So I hope you guys are really capturing that and enjoying that. And maybe we'll have another session on cryptocurrency. But I want to really get to the subject that many have been struggling with, and for many in this past year, and may still be an issue for 2021. Being a good leader and how to successfully manage your team when most of them or all of them are working from home, right? So majority of our employees, I would say probably 90% of all of our employees are working from home, which is great across the whole United States and Canada. And learning how to be a good leader can impact the success of your team in your organization and, of course, yourself. So even if you are even if you're not in a leadership position, or you are, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are a good leader, right? We are all leaders in some way, some capacity. The start of the pandemic probably made it much harder for some. Really, to practice leadership. You had to do it in a new, unconventional way. Like, who really went through a pandemic? And if you did, I don't think you're working, because the pandemic was early in the 1900s. So the pandemic has normalized working from home. And for many of us, we had, I want to say, 2 employees working from home back in 2019 and the beginning of 2020. And as this pandemic evolved, we had to pivot from where we were to where we are now. And some employees choose to come into the office full-time, which is totally okay with us, and some part-time, and others are full-time working from home. You're probably thinking that a lot of this is hard to keep up with. Well, let's dive into what makes a good leader, right? Who you are at your company, you are a leader. Whatever you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis, you're the leader of that entity. If you're a business owner, right, a vice president, chairman of the board, leaders, sales manager, operations manager, salesperson, you guys are all leaders. So when we look at this, there are skills that you have to apply to impact the team. We do that here at Becker Logistics. There's certain skills that we have to really work on or put out there that really affects Becker Logistics for the better, including all of the changing schedules that happen. So a successful leader has many great traits. They really do. And the first thing I wanted to do is to go over a few that I feel are really integral part of running a successful business while keeping the company and the culture alive and well. Communication is what I want to really touch on. Communication is so key. People don't just say it just to say it. It's a vital thing that you must have. You must have good communication. Not everyone knows how to communicate properly, though. They don't. You need to be able to communicate in a variety of ways, from conveying the information to coaching people. And not only that, being a great communicator involves being a great listener as well. Really, you have to understand that listening is more important than talking. It really is. And it's something that I used to struggle with really all the time. Someone would be saying something, I'd be thinking something, I'd say it, interrupting them. That's not fair to do. It took a lot of time to really harness that and deal with that as I went forward. The quality and the effectiveness of your communication across your organization will directly affect the success of your business. So if you're not or you aren't that great communication person now, then it's time to brush up on your skills. Another really important one is respect. And a lot of people miss this one, especially when you're dealing with things in your life. Especially as a business owner, you may have all these things going on and other people don't know what's going on. And it goes through a Venturi effect, and your internal comes out in a way that it shouldn't. Respect is so important. Treating people with respect on a daily basis can create trust. Trust. I mean, capital T-R-U-S-T. Like, people need to feel that they trust you. You need to improve your effectiveness. And you should really just treat others the way that you want to be treated. I mean, that is the golden rule. There's another rule called the platinum rule, and that is treating others the way they want to be treated. Do we slow down enough to really listen to how people want to be treated? Do we get to know people? Do we understand where they live, what children, how many children they have, what ages those children are? Do they have pets? Get to know your people. I may be the CEO, but that doesn't mean I'm better than anyone else here. There are people much smarter than I am, better communicators than I am, handle problems better than I do. But I also have my place here at the company as the visionary of this company. So, especially when being a leader or a CEO, you have to have resilience. I mean, we go through problems all the time, right? Show me a person that doesn't have a problem, right? I mean, I've gone through my own crucibles in life, and I deal with problems each and every day, but you have to be resilient. Something I think that we all had practicing during 2020. I mean, really, we all had to have resilience. If we didn't have resilience, forget it, it's out the window. You may have heard this saying before, but when the going gets tough, the tough gets going, right? I know. So life throws obstacles in our way all of the time, whatever it's, could be personal or professional. But what separates people is this one question. Who's going to focus on the solution and who's going to focus on the problem? Usually they're two different people. In some cases, if it's the same person, you have to silo these. Otherwise, it gets really confusing. Keeping a positive mindset is so essential. I'm telling you, sometimes you just have to keep swimming and swimming and swimming. I don't know if you guys are swimmers or not, but for me, I used to swim a mile a day, every single day. And sometimes I'd go farther. And sometimes I was in cold water. And sometimes I just wasn't feeling well. But that resilience pulled me through. We all have our days. But how can you lead if you aren't resilient? Especially to life's changes. I mean, really. Slow down. Take a look, a self-inventory. How are you on your resilience? On a scale of 0 to 10, where are you? One of the biggest challenges in life recently has been for me is this pandemic. And since the pandemic started last year, so many people's lives have been affected. And as a leader, it is important to really understand what some people are going through. Having empathy is another trait that makes a great leader. I mean, schools, some daycare centers, They all closed. The bathrooms in the parks closed. The libraries closed. The homeless really had a problem. Some good restaurants closed. Businesses failed. What if you had an employee that is a parent and had no one to watch their children at home? I was growing up with a single parent, and it was very tough for my mom when she was 21 to 29. Yeah, think about that. What if that pandemic happened with me growing up? Were you fortunate enough to have both a mother and father throughout your whole childhood? What if one of our employees, what if one of your employees experiences a loss or multiple losses? Maybe a pregnant employee now has to deliver alone in the hospital because of the new rules that are put out. Or only one person can go into the ER. Or someone going through hospice. And only one parent or one loved one can go in there. These times, these moments, really call us into being. They call us into the future. They declare who we are. Better yet, it declares who we say we are. These are all stress factors and routine changes that can truly affect a person's mental health. Walk in your employee's shoes. I mean, really, walk in your employee's shoes. Be empathetic and understanding of all the situations. When you have a great work culture, the team is there for one another, no matter what the circumstances are. And sometimes it's not even work related. Another quality that you might not think of is confidence. You have to have the confidence. I mean, for me to I'm standing. But for me to stand here, I must have some confidence to speak to you. And what gives me this purpose is the network promise that we have here. It's a network promise to give to you guys freely what's showing up and what conversations we're dealing with, what I'm dealing with, and how can that help you and lead your organization? What can help you in your personal life or your business life? How can you be more confident or confident enough in your decisions that your team is also confident in the work that they are doing? If you're unsure on how to do something or unsure on your directions or your decisions or how you can get your team to follow, it all starts at the top. I like to take the pyramid and flip it upside down where I'm serving as a servant leader the people that are here at Becker Logistics. You have to be setting the tone as a leader. You must be confident. Your success matters in who you are. You're successful for a reason, and you're getting to where you need to be or gotten to where you're at right now. You have to trust in yourself. You have to be confident in yourself. If you're listening right now, I need you to be as confident as possible with who you are and what you're doing. And if not, that opens up a spot of where you need to really spend your time and energy. Life is about learning. It's not going to school and stopping there. You have to continue and keep filling up that glass. Because it's only half full. It's not half empty. Keep filling that up. Let it overflow. And when you overflow it, you can give to others. Which brings me to my last part, but not least, there is integrity. Are you honest with yourself? Are you fulfilling on all the agreements that you've laid out, that you said that you would commit to? The value that it is at the core of Becker Logistics is integrity. President Eisenhower, what a great man. He once said, "Supreme quality of leadership is unquestionably integrity. Without it, no real success is possible, no matter whatever it is on a section of a gang, a football field, in an army, or in an office." Right where you're sitting. Integrity is fundamental. It's a quality of a great leader. Practice what you preach and own up to your mistakes. When you have a broken agreement, hit it. I'm finding now in my life, and why it took me 51 years to figure this out, when you come up to an agreement that you said that you were going to have and you break it, right before you break it, you're telling yourself and quantifying, or you deserve to break it. You're talking to two different people there. You're talking to a person in an ordinary world, and then you're talking to the new person that wants this quality, this exponential world that they can step into and be. Everyone makes mistakes. When you own that, that is how you learn from them. By experiencing these mistakes, owning them, and getting past it. It's tough for the people that just brush right through that. They miss the quality of what's there. They really do. People want to work for those who are ethical as leaders. If you act with integrity and do what's the best for the business, it will actually strengthen you and the business. These qualities are traits of leadership. Don't just apply to business. You know, I pride myself on being a father of an 11-year-old and a 7-year-old. I love my children. And to all those parents out there, I mean, right there, being a father is being a leader. I'm being a leader to my children. Being a CEO is being a leader to Becker Logistics and every single team member. Being a husband isn't necessarily being a leader, since it's a partnership. But my relationship benefits from me having these traits. It really does. Developing your leadership skills is going to help you in every aspect of your life, no matter what or who you are. You should always be learning and looking for new things to do. Even great leaders, the best ones, keep learning better than they were yesterday. My daughter Sydney was talking about basketball. She's now on the basketball team at 11 years old. And she was learning how to block out. And she shared that story with me when I got home from work yesterday. It was just so beautiful. You put your hand out and then you turn your back. And she's going through the whole thing. And there's a coach that's helping her and all of the members of that team get better. That's true leadership. We are all leaders. How much time and energy are you putting into your own leadership? If it's for your business, for your team, for yourself, for your children. Think about that. After all, you never know when things are going to change, and you'll have to learn a whole lot really quick. This is what happened to me and countless others when everyone started working from home last year. Luckily, our IT team already had a lot of things already established, and it was really easy to move into it. Now, along the way, we had our hiccups, we had our problems, but we managed that, we mitigated that. The biggest challenge for me, and many more, was having to relearn and readjust to the methods of communication. I mean, did we really do Zoom? We had it. Do we really use it? No. It means not like I could just walk over to my COO's office anymore. I couldn't do that. Everything was suddenly online. Communication is key, right? Everybody says that in all aspects. So how do we transition from being an in-person leader to a Zoom and email leader? It's really all about creativity. I lead by example. And it follows through to the management team in my company and then to every single one of our employees. Our customers can see this. Our carriers can see this. The pandemic hit us early in 2020. And once the lockdown started, our employees and myself started working from home. I'll never forget that day. The Becker Logistics team is solid, and we have a great foundation. So we just had to learn how to apply it, and when we're not all under one roof for 8 hours a day, it changes, and we had to adapt to keep us on track and making sure everyone was being productive and on top of their tasks. We had regular one-on-one meetings over Zoom. Every employee would be meeting with their manager at least once a week to go over projects, tasks, and anything else that they needed to discover or discuss. I mean, really, dealing with the problems. This is the first question I always ask. What problems are you dealing with? We wanted to make sure we were all on the same page and everyone was kept accountable. Identifying the difference between accountability and responsibility was essential. That's what a lot of companies were concerned about, not necessarily the accountability and responsibility. Well, maybe they were. We were. How are we going to keep everyone on task, productive and accountable for their work? Listening to the employees was so important. You hired your employee for a reason, right? You sure did. And if you have a great team of people that love their job and the company that they work for, it shouldn't be that hard. Once you had the one-on-ones in place consistently and scheduled, we had to think of how to keep the company and culture alive virtually. I mean, virtually is like the newest term of 2020 and 2021. The pandemic is easy to have employee events where everyone could get together on Zoom. Well, normally we're now celebrating in May our 24th year anniversary. And we would normally have a party out in our parking lot. Are we going to do a Zoom barbecue or an outing? But now we all had the Zoom, and we had to see each other online, which is great. And we had to come up with some new ideas. Our culture committee did a fantastic job, and in my office has a nice little painting, and it's pretty big, and it has all the different activities we did in 2020 with Zoom. And it's beautiful to just see that with everybody's face on there, and it was all virtual. Where before it would be right here in the office. So we started having virtual cultural events and contests and games and trivia and anything to allow employees to feel connected to each other. Listen, our employees are one of the things I hold truest to my heart. And we had to listen. I had to listen. Listen, if you want your employees to participate, then lead the way. You can't just hope that your culture is going to stay alive. It takes effort, just like any relationship. We'd ask everyone to take a picture in a funny hat, send in that picture of that Christmas tree, and show off their work from home. What did their workstation look like at home? What do their pets look like at home? This was all to keep the spirit alive and engage with employees, because normally we would meet in the kitchen. We'd meet in the hallway, out in the parking lot, and we'd catch up to see what was going on in their life. I am so thankful for our HR department because they've done an awesome job on making sure we are still interacting with each other each day from afar. So a big shout out to our HR department. You guys rock. Really do appreciate all the hard work that you guys have done. In addition, I started what I called a weekly town hall meeting. And this came from our ODS department, our HR department. Like, this was really needed. So every week, the entire company hops on a Zoom for a quick meeting where I'm letting them know what's going on in the company and the direction that we're headed. All the silos are able to be broken down, and we could actually talk to everyone as if they were all in my office and like, hey, this is what's going on with the company. And a lot of time and effort goes into that. This acts as another important way to keep everyone on the same page and in the loop. So if you're not doing a town hall right now, check it out. Try it out. 15, 20 minutes a week just to break the week up and let people know what's going on. They're not mind readers. And you have to communicate that. Most of our employees work from home full time, granted. Some are in the office part-time, and some of them are part-time working from home. I found that offering this flexibility has worked great, and everyone seems to really enjoy it. So if you can make the whole work from home thing work for your team, do it. It is an added benefit. It's an added quality. It's added quantity that many people can enjoy. Turn a negative into a positive and keep it moving forward. So in conclusion, there are many areas that make a leader great leaders and in leadership. All are important and need to be maintained and if you wish to be successful, leadership is where it's at. And many of these traits of leadership have truly shined while working from home. Communication, resilience, respect, these are all a must. I hope you were able to take something away from this live stream. If not, rewatch it, share it. Down at the bottom, there's a little share button. Share it, post it on your LinkedIn profile or your Facebook or your YouTube. If you're looking to improve the way you lead, maybe take a look into the traits you have set in your life and see what traits would be a benefit to your skills. Maybe add some, maybe drop some. I like coming up with things that I'm going to start doing and things that I'm going to stop doing. That way I don't get overloaded and overworked. I'm going to open a book, and whether we're all in the office or working from home, and in that book that I'm reading, it may be a good one, new one. Most of them are business or leadership. I try to read 2 books a month, and if I only read one, that's great. By reading all this, it helps me add to who I am and helps me become a better leader. And I'm very authentic. And I guess you could say I'm kind of an open book. And I lead by example. And I exercise leadership as my natural self-expression, truly. And with that allows me the ability to exercise constantly. Exercising isn't something that you do once a year. You exercise on a regular basis so that you stay strong. And my managers do the same thing. Like they say, one team, one dream. Your employees have to or not only know your vision, they have to have their own vision as well. But believe in it just as much as you do. So go out there, make a difference. Identify your values, identify your vision, and help the people around you. And be that leader. Be that leader you really want to be. And if you're missing something, add to it. And even if you think you're right in the right position, add to it. Add what is possible. And if you made it this far, I really appreciate it. Really. I mean, this is a long 20 minutes, I'm guessing. I want to thank you for making it this far. Like this, please like this, comment, throw a question out there. I'll answer it. And if possible, share it as well. And in closing, I just want to say if there's any comments out there, let's take a look. And we have a couple. Love your passion. Thank you, Romney. I appreciate it. Your culture there is a direct reflection on how you lead. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate that. I've seen it firsthand. Keep it up. Thanks, Jason. Missed you, brother. John, awesome post, Jim. Spot on. Ideas and great points. Thank you. And thank you all for viewing, really. As we change seasons, look at yourself. Are you changing too? Listen, thank you very much, and God bless. Have a great day, guys.